The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Morning Market Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien. Now, Tommy O'Brien.
Good Thursday morning, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN, just after 9 a.m. Eastern Time. We got 3 days left until Christmas, folks. We have 2 more trading days today. Is that right? I'm getting lost in the days today. Today is Thursday. Today and tomorrow, full days in the market. And boy, it's not stopping right now, man. Going to bed last night, things like, you know what, man? We're in some decent positive territory right now. You're climbing towards almost 39.20, and boom, just like that, you give up 50 points. We get some economic data this morning. Markets down near 1%. You get the S&Ps off 0.9% right now. You have the NASDAQ 100 down 1.25% right now. You have the Dow off 0.2% right now, and the Russell off about 0.8% right now. Crude catches a bid. We have some volatility in the currency markets. Crude nearing almost $80 this morning. You got gold backing off a bit from 18.28 to 18.17. We'll jump over to the dollar in a moment. Notes and bonds, a little bit of a pullback for lower price, higher yield. You're talking about a yield on the 10-year right now of 3.67%. 3.67%, the yield on the 10-year. Let's jump over to the VIX Volatility Index. We got a 19 handle yesterday, still sitting at a relatively reasonable 2052 in that index, and we jump over to currencies. There's your dollar index, catching a little bit of strength. We put this thing on a daily. See, kind of chopping around at that 382. Now, that's a much longer-term trend, okay, of all the way from the lows of last year. We've pulled back to about the 382 area. That's also the area we had a little bit of a chop going back to May of this year. Excuse me. And we jump over to the euro-US dollar right now. On a daily basis, 106.13, quite the pop from where we've been recently. We got to check out the dollar-yen now, wrap up. Dollar-yen right now, we'll put it back to a 5-minute to see the action this morning. A little bit of a spike on the numbers at 8:30 this morning. We'll jump over to those in a few minutes. Apologies, as I'm checking out what's going on. A lot to follow in this market, folks. It is going to be a very thin market right now, and we'll see where we go, man, but not the start that you want. Now, what's interesting is, the one thing I'm going to pull up here, okay, is just on a Fibonacci basis of the recent trend, folks. I was looking for 39.27 potentially. Didn't quite get there, but one of the things I talked about in my newsletter this Monday, when this market was down at a price point of about 38.28, is, you know, this isn't going to be a one-way trip down, man. You get bounces in this market. The moves lower are so magnificent that you get bounces, and you're talking about bounces that even to the 382 bring you to about a 39.27. Well, where'd you get to? You traded right back to the lows of December 15th, folks. That's where you just traded into. That low was a price point of 39.19. We got to this morning, check it out, 39.19, right? Right into that price level. What is that exact low there? No, the low is 39.08. Okay, the high was 39.19 to that bar. 39.08 was the bar. Nonetheless, you can see right where we got into that area, man. And yeah, you're talking about a 100-point rise from where we were early on Tuesday to where we were now. But boy, if this is an A to B, C to D, folks, you got an A point of 4,090. You have a B point of 3,800, we'll call it, for easy math. That's 290 points. Make it 285. Boy, if you're taking 285 off 39.21, man, yeah, you're talking about 3,600, 3,630, something like that is where this market could head to. And that was over the period of only 4 days, folks, that A to B leg took place. So we're in some dicey territory, man, to say the least. Yeah, we have a lot going on this morning, man, as I jump around. You have, whether it's equities, whether it's economic news, but let's jump to the used cars. CarMax, are they going to go the likes of Carvana? Maybe not that spectacular, but yeah, it is a tough one, man. They're going to be down, what is that, $8 on a $60 stock? You're talking about, what, 13, 14% right now after the used car retailer missed profit and revenue expectations. Earnings of 24 cents a share. Market was looking for 70. Revenue, $6.5 billion. You know what the market was looking for, folks? $7.3 billion. Yeah, be careful of that one in a big way. You got Micron. They're going to be trimming their workforce. Fiscal first quarter earnings results in plans to cut about 10% of the workforce. Chips. If they're cutting chips, folks, then everything is going to get cut. For the period, Micron posted a loss of 4 cents a share on $4.09 billion. They were looking for a loss of 1 cent a share on $4.11, so pretty close to in line. The company also shared earnings guidance for the current period that fell short. It expects to lose 62 cents a share in the current quarter. The market was looking for a loss of only 30 cents a share, and they plan to suspend next year's bonuses across the board. Yeah. The meme stocks, AMC, could it get any worse, man? Oof. Talk about some short opportunities if you had the wherewithal and the wallet to withstand it, man. These drop-offs, let's go back even further, right? Look at this thing, man. Absolutely remarkable that you are back to prices that you were trading at before all of the meme frenzy started. You have AMC down $1.30 on a $5.30 stock, man. And they are going for a capital raise. Let's see, I got to figure out what they're doing, man. I got it up here somewhere. I'll find them. They're doing a capital raise. They're in trouble, folks. That's the bottom line. Let's see. Let me find that article. Here we go. Capital raise and proposes a reverse stock split. Well, I have some tough news for AMC. In the days of the meme stocks where you would announce a stock split and things would accelerate, you announce a reverse stock split, and somehow Wall Street bets would be all over your equity. Not the case anymore, man. At least with AMC. They have a new $110 million capital raise and proposed a reverse stock split that requires shareholder approval. Can you imagine that they're raising money, folks, at $5 a share? Now, they were pushing out money. They just should have been selling all day, raising money into these prices, man. You're talking about a company right now for AMC that's valued at $2 billion when the stock's trading at $4, right? They just could have been taking so much money off the table and raising it back then. And I know they were to some degree, but obviously not enough if they need to raise $110 million right now and their stock is now trading at $4. It's a tough one, man. Let's see. Under Armour's got some news this morning. They're off a little bit with the negative market. So they named Marriott executive Stephanie Linnartz as their new CEO, and she's currently the president of Marriott International Operations. Interesting. Marriott International over to Under Armour. She's been with them for 25 years. All right. Let's jump around to what else we have going on. Amazon, trading down about $1.50 right now, maybe $1 from 86.77 to 85. We jump over to the big dog Apple right now, 134 from 135.50. Just yesterday, Google shares this morning. That's quite a trade lower, man. Yeah, from 90.25 to about 89. It's going to be a dicey day, man. All that was a bear market bounce, folks, and we got a lot of time left until Christmas. We got 2 full trading days, man, and everybody may be on vacation already. I mean, you heard Kevin Hincks. I believe they're on vacation. That was their final show yesterday. So that's Chicago. That's Wall Street, folks, okay? It's Thursday before Christmas, and everybody's off Monday. And the markets are going to open down 1%. We're going to get into some of the economic data that's driving the action this morning. We'll be right back, folks. If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them, using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Everything in the universe is governed by the Fibonacci sequence. This mathematical principle is responsible for everything from the most aesthetically pleasing artwork to patterns in the stock market. To stay on top of stock patterns you can take advantage of, sign up for the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter at TFNN.com. When you subscribe, you'll get a weekly report from veteran day trader Larry Pesavento on stocks you need to pay attention to. And you can trust Larry's analysis. After all, he's got 45 years experience as a day trader. Larry will also provide daily charts, videos, and data on the key markets that he's tracking. Expect notifications from Larry on market movement you need to act on at any time. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. Subscribe to the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter today. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den. Hosted at Discord, TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. We have the S&P right now negative by about, make sure my mic's working, making S&P off 32 points. We get the NASDAQ off 135. We get the Dow off 211. Jumping over the dollar index right now. Dollar index 104.27, and we jump over, as you have a little bit of strength in the dollar index, that's putting a hurt on some of the commodities. You got gold off about $10 right now. We jumped to notes and bonds. Flat from where we were last night, but you see the pullback right now, as we got quite a drop-off on some of those economic numbers, man. We have jobless claims. You got GDP. You got core PCE. Jobless claims. Let's start off with jobless claims. 216,000. Historically low. It's not how you get hold of a generational inflation, folks, in terms of where you're at. Not how it happens, to say the least. Applications ticked up to 216. Up 2,000 from where they were. The market was looking for 222. Little unchanged in terms of where you are. Yeah, the jobless market remains tight, I would say so. On a separate report, U.S. gross domestic product, GDP, increased at 3.2%, higher than previously estimated, driven by an upward revision of consumer spending. It's tough deals across the board right now, folks, in terms of where you are. And then you got core PCE coming in at, I believe, about 4.7%, all higher than what Mr. Powell would like, as I mentioned, as they were talking about in the den this morning. So that's a part of the reason in terms of GDP hot, core PCE a little bit hotter than the market would like, and you have jobless claims continuing to run at a historical low level. Tough to argue that inflation is under control with those numbers, folks, in a big way, and you're seeing the market roll over. And as I said, this market is primed for an irrational behavior move, man, when you got such a light market. Because, yeah, people might be in the office today, but guess what, man? People want to get their Christmas shopping done, too. There's a lot to get done, right? It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Christmas is on Sunday. You don't want to be shopping on Christmas Eve. Maybe you got some items to take care of yesterday or today. Not sure what happens there. As in, there is going to be light participants in this market, to say the least. Yeah, and talk about some cold weather, man. I mean, Jimmy, minus 16. Minus 16. Where are you, Jimmy? Where is it minus 16 right now? The Northeast, man. You stay warm up there in the Northeast. We're going to get some cold weather by Florida standards, man. It's going to be an interesting NFL weekend as well. Minus 8 in Spokane, Washington. Yeah, we'll be seeing some ice bowls for the NFL, folks. Should be an interesting one, to say the least. Car won't start in Denver. Man, oh, man. Yeah, we'll pull up the weather maybe later in the program, but if you haven't seen it, folks, it is a cold one across the board. Even in Florida, we're going to get some cold weather by our standards, but stay safe out there in that cold weather, because it's no joke when you start getting down to those types of temperatures where you're talking about minus 8, minus 16. Yeah, to say the least, right? All right, let's jump around to what else we have going on. We talked about the jobless claims. We talked about AMC, Micron. Yeah, so they're laying off 10% of the staff, suspending bonuses. I mean, folks, if chips are not going to be necessary, then that is a slowdown. They have about 48,000 employees, so they're potentially going to lay off about 10% of that. They're going to take a $30 million charge in restructuring. And, yeah, as I mentioned at the top of the program, they missed their numbers, losses of 4 cents a share. They missed on revenue as well. You don't want to see chips starting to underperform, folks, because that's a big problem in a big way. All right, let's see what other equities. We talked about a lot of these. Let's see, Tyson. They're expected to lose hundreds of employees when they consolidate offices in Arkansas. Okay, nothing really big there. Yeah, no real driving action there. It's going to be interesting in terms of the open, man. It's digesting a lot of economic data in terms of jobless claims, GDP, and core PCE on those numbers, and we get that reaction at 8:30, and you're already seeing how this market's getting hit. And I don't know how it finds a bid right now. But guess what? It's a light market, so anything can happen, man. And keep your eye on maybe 39.27 in this previous high, about 39.20, that area, in terms of where we are. We jump over to the gold contract. And, of course, you get that pullback. You have dollar strength, right, on the economic news. I would love to be in Chairman Powell's room this morning, seeing his reaction to these strong numbers, his reaction to the market rolling over at the premise, yet again, that inflation is not under control just yet, folks, and that is putting it lightly, to say the least. All right, let's check around to some of the airline stocks as we're gearing up for some holiday travel, man. Yeah, God bless anybody traveling in this type of cold weather in the Northeast, man. Not sure, and all across the country, not even the Northeast. Not sure how that's going to hit travel, but boy, it's going to be a tough one, man. Yeah. You got American, quite a pop yesterday for American shares. Delta Airlines, they got quite the acceleration yesterday. You give back most of it, though, for Delta. United Airlines, yeah, all of these stocks were higher yesterday, and they give almost it all back on that number. We jump over to the cruise ships. Carnival, there's some volatility on their numbers, man. Down to 773. We're right back to where we were prior to the open yesterday for Carnival. Now, here's the longer term, all right? Carnival, I've talked about this before. If you're taking a peek at some of these cruise ships, there's nothing wrong with gambling, folks, but it is a high-risk trade, to put it lightly, putting your money into some of the cruise ships going on right now. And Carnival is just kind of in the middle of no man's land. You know, you're well off the lows of 611. You're right in the middle of a downtrend channel. Not sure that's going to be beneficial in terms of trading and how you buy that area on their numbers. We jump over to Norwegian. I've talked about this a couple times. The area, that might be the area for Norwegian if you get a test of that channel line. So if you're looking to get some action on the cruise ships, man, Norwegian, you got 3 consecutive tops that forms a nice channel line. The bottom part of that channel line matches up pretty parallel to the lines you're talking about. You break out of that channel line in October. You reach a high of Norwegian of 1867. We've already given up $5 since then, folks. Yeah, you're off almost 30% from where this stock was trading November 4th. So that's why you're getting a lot of volatility. I understand why traders like trading these types of equities sometimes, where volatility can be a trader's best friend if handled with the right risk profiles as well. But boy, we're getting close, man. And yeah, if you get into that area, you're retesting that channel line, look for a test, maybe Norwegian could be a good trade. At least you got your back against the wall. You trade below that channel line, you get back into that channel line, maybe you're out of it. Just a proposed trade. But if you're looking for the cruise ships, And boy, just like I said, you're off 30% from where you were just November 14th. We'll see how it goes. Speaking of stocks that have declined, Tesla, you're going to open down another $1. Now, that's a weekly. Let's put it on a daily. That's pretty remarkable, man. So this was yesterday's chart. You make a low of 135.89, and we're going to be close to that level, man. There's your 5-minute action. We just hit 135.70. What was the spike low yesterday? 135.89. So you got below it pre-market. We're going to open at lows, basically, on Tesla. The story continues on that stock, to put it lightly. Let's jump around to some of the streamers. I mean, everything is just in the doldrums right now, man. Disney, 86.92 from 203 last year, basically challenging the COVID lows. Now, how remarkable is this, man? The whole world shut down. Theme parks shut down. Movie theaters shut down. And you're back into an area of COVID lows, man. Disney hit $79 when all the parks were shut down. And this was exacerbated selling, folks, okay? I mean, this acceleration that we saw in the markets when you had stocks trading from 140 to 80 over the period of 3 or 4 weeks, yeah, there was exacerbated selling that was forced. It was forced selling, and people had to sell those positions on margin or whatever it is. If you're looking for an area on Disney, man, might be an area to start scaling at 86. Doesn't mean it would be saved if this market trades lower, but we're at levels much more attractive than $200. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back.
Building wealth trading in the stock market seems impossible to most people. They think it's too volatile and risky. Most people aren't going to take the time to educate themselves on how to do it right. But you're not most people, are you? At TFNN, you'll get the guidance you need to refine your strategies and techniques to invest like a pro. Because you'll be a pro. All TFNN subscriptions, books, software, and courses are available at TFNN.com. And I'm even going to tell you how to get them for less. Use TFNN's Tiger Dollars and you'll get up to a 20% bonus on your purchase. And once you apply them to your account, Tiger Dollars are automatically used for all future or recurring charges. Tiger Dollars also never expire, are fully transferable, and are a great way to add savings to your newsletters or services. Become the investor you were born to be at TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, welcome back, folks. We got markets open. You got an S&P opening down right where we were, chopping around since about that economic data, with the S&P's down 32, NASDAQ 100, you're off 1.2% right now, and the Dow off about 0.6%. So going over those numbers again, U.S. third quarter GDP revised higher to 3.2% on what? On firm spending. Now, this was revised to 3.2 from 2.9. Okay, so you have an increase of 0.3 percentage point. Personal consumption was revised significantly higher, advancing 2.3% in the latest report compared to the earlier 1.7% estimate, reflecting stronger services spending. The figures highlight how, despite rising interest rates and rapid inflation, consumer and business demand remains solid. That's the point in the conversation that Chairman Powell spits out his coffee. I kid, but come on, right? That's a tough one in terms of what he keeps seeing and how that goes. Maybe the market's eventually going to say, you know what, man? Maybe he's right. Maybe they are going to be higher for longer. A strong labor market and wage growth has underpinned household spending, but it's unclear whether Americans will be able to maintain that spending momentum in 2023. I'd say there's a lot of things that are unclear in terms of how the next year looks. We got inflation numbers, personal consumption expenditures, okay, PCE, excluding food and energy, core, rose an annualized 4.7% in the third quarter. That was up slightly from the prior estimate. And you have November monthly data is going to be released tomorrow. How's that for getting some action on the thinnest of thin days, Friday before Christmas, man? And then you have one more data point. Enough data coming in, man. Gross domestic income rose at a rate of 0.8%. When averaged with GDP, a measure watched closely by those who determine the timing of a recession, it climbed a firmer 2%. Yeah, so that is not good when you talk about getting inflation under control, man. And we're seeing the markets trade lower on the open. Not surprising, man. S&P is now down 1%. NASDAQ off 1.5. That's NASDAQ 100. And you got the Dow off 0.8%, man. They're talking about Nike in the den. Nike, strong earnings on Tuesday after the bell. And they're down about 0.9%, but holding up relatively well in terms of a lot of those gains from about 102 on those earnings, trading at 114.50 on Nike shares. And yeah, let's see how some of the stocks with their numbers are trading. You had AMC down all the way to 370. They're back to 435 this morning. You got Micron out with their numbers. They're going to be cutting 10% of their workforce. They catch a little bit of a bid as well. Interesting, right? Catching a bid. Market not catching a bid, man. Now, we've done the Fibonacci in terms of potentially a dead cat bounce. Now, let's just see. Let's just, out of curiosity, let's just take a look and see Fibonacci-wise. If you took kind of that spike high, and this spike high on that CPI data last Tuesday, folks, I'm not really comfortable cherry-picking that irrational high because it was so quick, it was so irrational, it was pre-market that those numbers took place, okay? So I'm much more comfortable maybe taking this high, which was Wednesday prior to the Fed, in terms of a rational high. And look at it, folks. Where did we just go to? I should have recalibrated my chart, man, because I had the Fibonacci number talking about where we were on Monday, but you cherry pick it. And again, this is where things get, it's an art, not a science, folks. Are you going to take that low overnight at midnight of 38.03? Well, if you do, all we did was trade to a 382, folks. You had the market just bounce 112 points, and all you did is retrace the 382 of the prior move over a period of only 5 days. You trade lower for 5 days, right? And now what have we done? We got 2 days of higher price up to 39.15, and now we are rolling over, man. Now, that was on the way down. Now, let's just see on this move lower, the price levels we're looking at. So we just traded up from 38.03 to almost 39.20, and then in the span of this morning, you have now given up 60 points, and you're continuing to drop. You're at the 50%, the 618. Maybe that's the next stop. Look for a possible area of 38.47, potentially, on the 618 of the S&P. This is going to be a dicey day, folks. That's not the economic data you wanted. You got higher GDP. You have consumer spending. You have core PCE, still higher than the market wants. You have jobless claims sitting at historic lows. You do the math on that one. Crude jumping around, 78.81 right now. Gold, yeah, gold continuing to drop. We got some dollar strength potentially as these markets get roiled. We sure do, man. Dollar trading higher, 104.52. Now, I'm going to go back to the 10-year, okay? It's going to be interesting to see where we go. Now, short term, okay, we're seeing the 10-year trade lower, as you can expect. Higher rates, folks. Just from 3:30 a.m. this morning, you're off half a point from where you are on the 10. I'm just jumping around to pull up that yield right now, as I'm seeing headlines that Google did win the rights for NFL Sunday Ticket. Yeah, we're at about 3.7% on the 10-year. We jump over to Google. Yeah, so much for that. Down about 2%. Oh, they're spending $2 billion for the Sunday Ticket, folks. And I think that's a good idea in the long term. That's just, I'll just go there, man. DirecTV had been paying $1.5 billion annually. Google's going to pay $2 billion. And you know what? They can make that money up in no time. Yeah, 1994. How about that? How does that happen? Now, I've talked about this before. This is a special service, okay? In terms of the NFL Sunday Ticket, and I'll try and get this exactly, but they are not able to, because, boy, if they could ever just offer this for like a loss leader or something, right? They buy the NFL Sunday Ticket and they offer it for $50 or something, and they bring everybody. You can't do that. Okay, I'm going to try and find the numbers because I've found them before. They are required to offer this at an exact price that is pretty astronomical. So it's not going to be a game changer in terms of just offering that content to everybody. But nonetheless, you're going to see these big streamers come in, and $2 billion is nothing for a company like Google if it can drive some of that growth. And guess what? I imagine it may, man, because there's nothing like NFL football, and it's going to be an interesting weekend of NFL football, as I said, man, with some of these temperatures in a big way. Let's see how some of the FANG stocks are trading as we got the NASDAQ 100 off now close to 2%. You have Apple off 1.4%, NASDAQ 100 off about 1.7%. Let's see how Tesla's trading this morning. Man, down another 2%. Kathy Wood, man. Right near the lows of Tuesday for her. Some of these fantastical growth stocks, right? Roku down another 2.36%, man. She's big into Teladoc. Look at these stocks, man. Off another 5.3%, man. It just does not stop in some of these equities. Yeah, AMC catching a little bit of a bid. I'd be careful on that one, folks. Remember, AMC was at like $2 to start this craze 2 years ago. There's nothing to say that it can't get back to that price level yet again. Absolutely remarkable. CarMax out with their numbers. They're down 9%. They catch a little bit of a bid on the open, though. Up to $53.78 for CarMax shares. Winners and losers across this market, man. But this is looking pretty dicey as the market's struggling to find a bid. We put it on a 1-minute basis. Yeah, we've been chopping around since about 9:33, but you're right near the lows in terms of this market. It's a one-way trip. And how do you find a bid, folks? How do you find a bid to buy the market that's relatively okay right now at 38.60? Remember, we had lows at 3,600. We had lows at 3,500, right? And we're getting economic data that says, hey, the market may be wrong. The Fed may be right. We may be higher for longer. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
The technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Will the S&P 500 continue to climb? For bold trades on U.S. large-cap stocks in either direction, trade SPXL, SPUU, or SPXS. Directions Daily S&P 500 Bull and Bear Leveraged ETFs. Direction Leveraged ETFs. An investor should carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risks, charges, and expenses before investing. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a fund's prospectus and summary prospectus, call 866-476-7523 or visit directioninvestments.com. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Welcome back, folks. Markets continuing to roll over. We got the S&Ps now off nearly 1.3%. NASDAQ 100 off 1.92%. The Dow right now off a solid percent. And we got the Russell off 1.6%. Back to Google real quick for this DirecTV story. So the average price right now for DirecTV was about $293 is what they were charging. This is DirecTV. $300, call it, is what they're charging. Now, I pulled up an article from September of last year, okay, just for some cherry picking, some data in here. This article from CNBC, go figure, they didn't have the pulse of it, and they said Amazon was the likely front runner. Maybe they were at that time, okay? NFL may ask up to $2.5 billion a year for the package. Now, what's interesting here is that they talk about DirecTV's had it since 1994. They signed an 8-year deal in 2014. AT&T just spun them out as a new company last month. And it's just not in the math to make it work financially for them to continue that deal. You look at the numbers, okay? They charge about $300 for the package. DirecTV's paid about $1.5 billion per year for it. They would need about 5 million subscribers to break even. How many do they have? 2 million. What does that mean? They have 2 million subscribers paying $300, okay? That brings the number to 600 million, and they're paying 1.5 billion. They're taking in 600 million to make 1.5 billion. Now, obviously, there may have been other things at work. Maybe those people are signing up for the service overall. You got 2 million extra customers you wouldn't have. But you see, the math just was not working in any way. They're required to offer this service at something like $300, folks. I couldn't find it, but that is a requirement of this contract, okay? And it makes sense, because otherwise, why would CBS, NBC, Fox pay for the NFL rights if you could just have Amazon scoop in, pay billions for NFL Sunday Ticket, and offer every single game available to Prime users, right? So that's not the case. There's contractual obligations here to charge a specific price for this service. Now, what's interesting is Amazon has been working with the NFL already since 2017. So Amazon's Web Services has been the NFL's technology provider in the development of next-gen stats, which it has analyzed and stored data on every NFL player since 2017, and they have a history of working with broadcast partners with which it has established relationships. Well, what did they end up doing? Amazon ended up going after Thursday Night Football instead. Maybe they looked at this for the same reason I did. You got to be quite the NFL fan, man, to be paying $300 to watch every single game. Because, yeah, you know, if you're a huge Patriots fan down here. We get a few Patriots games a year that we can watch, right? But you don't get many, etc. But it's a very niche market in terms of selling such a premium priced product versus offering Thursday Night Football to every single Prime user for a cost relationship that's already built in. So you're going to see that continue to rock and roll in terms of that market. And boy, man, this market's just not stopping, with the S&Ps now off 1.4% and the NASDAQ 100 now declining off 2.1%, man. Folks, we're 15 minutes into the trading day, and we got today and we have tomorrow, and we got some more economic data out tomorrow, which could roil these markets as well. We'll take a look at Bitcoin. We got a little bit of Bitcoin news. The market's rolling over. We got Bitcoin at 16,600. Not surprising that you have people trying to save themselves by turning state's evidence, or as they would say, Bankman-Fried associates flip as FTX founder arrives in New York City. Folks, this is a multi-billion-dollar theft. You don't think people are going to try and save themselves? They got plea agreements from the associates at FTX's. The quickest thing these people are doing, man, is finding a lawyer and saying, how can I get myself out of trouble? And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who ends up holding the bag. Bankman-Fried, obviously, but who else was in the know in there, man? Because it seems like some of the people should have known what was going on when you got billions of dollars. But in crypto, you can hide a lot. And that's a dicey area in terms of where they are and what is going on and who is going to be held responsible. Even more difficult in crypto, to say the least, right? All right, let's jump around to some of the currencies as this market continues to drop. Yeah, we got the dollar index right where it was right now. We check out the 10-year, kind of chopping around as well. So notes and bonds and dollar index staying where they are, but S&P down about 50 points right now. And yeah, like I said, if you're looking for potentially an area, only using Fibonacci's, folks, because, boy, it could be a dicey area, man. Maybe the 618 of 38.47, we find a little bit of resistance. That was an area yesterday that, Tuesday, early in the morning, that acted as resistance, a little bit of support on Tuesday. But in general, folks, the trend is low right now, okay? And I would be looking at this from an area that we just got a bounce. And I'm going to edit this. Whoops, cancel. I'm going to activate this. I'm going to slide this bad boy down to the low. I'm going to zoom in. And all we did is just roll to the 382, folks. And boy, it looks like we're coming down to test the lows of about 3,800 in this market. We're only 50 points away. And for some context here, we are now almost 70 points from where we were at 3 in the morning. Yeah, so things may go pretty quickly, to say the least. It's a dicey one, man. That's for sure. Let's jump over to Amazon shares. Amazon down 2.2% right now. You have Apple off 1.4%. Google spending a couple $2 billion for the NFL Sunday ticket, off about 2% right now. Let's jump to see how the banks are doing this morning. We got JP Morgan off 1.3%. Bank of America off about 0.7%. We got Citi off about 1% right now. Goldman Sachs off about 1%. You can't hide in this market right now, man. Morgan Stanley off about 0.7% right now. Chevron off about 0.4%. We're jumping to some energy. ExxonMobil off 1.1% right now, and that's even with crude. Up about 55 pennies on the session, nearing almost $80 overnight. We're back to 78.81 right now for the price of crude. Take a look at silver. Talk about some volatility in silver, up to 24.52. We're back to 23.80 right now. Let's see how some of the stocks that were trading on their numbers are reacting this morning. CarMax, look at that rebound, man, to 54.76 in their numbers. Micron, a little bit of a bid as well. You're off almost 3%, but you were as low as 48.82 on their numbers from Micron. Under Armour's getting a new CEO. They're down with the market right now, just 1.7% in the red, pretty much in par with what the market's doing. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you find a bid in this market. Do you step in front of this train? Maybe as a short-term trade you do. But do you want to be long into Christmas and New Year's? I think I'd rather let things sort out, folks, because, yeah, things look dicey today, right? But all things considered, we're trading at prices that we were at in May. And I think if you told us in May that we'd be coming into the final week of the year and we'd still be getting weekly jobless claims at historic lows. We'd still be getting core PCE running maybe hotter than the market was looking. We'd still be getting revisions of GDP higher than the market was thinking. Keep that in mind, man, because 3,800, okay? I'm going to back this up. 3,800. All we've done is trade back into where we were in March of 2021 after trading from a price level of 2,100 up to 3,800 in a one-way trip. You continued up to 4,800, okay? Not as dire as you may believe when you just traded down 1,000 points, but last year's gains, they're gone, folks. Forget about them, okay? Think about this year, think about next year. We got some volatility coming at us. We got light markets right now coming into the end of the year. Stay tuned, folks. We got one more segment. We'll be right back.
TFNN has just launched their new trading room, the Tiger's Den. Hosted at Discord, TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. And now they are expanding their reach with the Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. In the Tiger's Den, you can look over the shoulders of Tom O'Brien and the other TFNN hosts while they analyze charts during their live Tiger TV programs and join an interactive trading community with hundreds of members exchanging ideas. Interact with other tigers and tigresses as they share trading ideas, news analysis, and discuss the market action all trading day, even at night and on the weekends. The Tiger's Den at Discord is accessible on mobile or tablets as well, so it's always at your reach. To sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders, just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Everything in the universe is governed by the Fibonacci sequence. This mathematical principle is responsible for everything from the most aesthetically pleasing artwork to patterns in the stock market. To stay on top of stock patterns you can take advantage of, sign up for the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter at TFNN.com. When you subscribe, you'll get a weekly report from veteran day trader Larry Pesavento on stocks you need to pay attention to. And you can trust Larry's analysis. After all, he's got 45 years experience as a day trader. Larry will also provide daily charts, videos, and data on the key markets that he's tracking. Expect notifications from Larry on market movement you need to act on at any time. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. Subscribe to the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter today. TFNN.com, educating investors.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. We have the S&P off about 52 points, hanging out right near session lows. That's a loss of 1.3%. You got the NASDAQ 100 off just about 2%. You got the Dow now off 1%. So the Dow had been the strongest of all the negative indices, but now it's off 1% as well. We're going to jump to those weather numbers real quick, man. Stay warm out there, folks, especially you folks in the Midwest, man. Whoo, look at those temperatures, man. Craziness. Even in the Northeast, right? We got Boston up there at a 29. I mean, how about Tampa? Tampa's at a 59 right now. Those were current temps as of this morning, I believe. But boy, you're talking about negatives all over the mark, man. Negative 30, negative 33. I think these are real temperatures. These aren't even a feels like temperature, man. Let me see what it's like in beautiful Chicago this morning. What's it like in Chicago? 34, but what's the feels like going to be, man? 35 during the day, negative 5 at night. Snow possible after 11 a.m. They get some wind chill, man, in Chicago. But yeah, not as bad as I thought it might be in Chicago as some of the other areas of the country. Stay warm out there, folks. Even in Florida, man. 40s and 50s right now where we are. Saw an article today about the orange juice crop. And Trading Places is a Christmas movie, as one of my friends put it, folks. The orange crop in play this Christmas. You know? If you haven't seen Trading Places, folks, then shame on you. Go check it out over the holidays. Looking good, Billy Ray. Feeling good, Lewis, as our man Larry Pesavento says. Love that movie, man. Dan Aykroyd, Eddie Murphy, can't beat it. All right, folks, it's going to be a wild one. I appreciate you starting the day off. We're hanging right near session lows right now. S&P's off 52 points. How do you find a bid with that economic data going on right now? NASDAQ 100 off about 2%. And, yeah, I appreciate you starting the day off with me. I'll be back tomorrow. We got one more day of trading, but stay tuned. We got live trading today, folks. We have live programs. Our man Basil Chapman's coming up next. And boy, we got some volatility coming at you, man. So for traders, volatility can be a trader's best friend. But protect yourself out there, folks, because today can be an irrational day. Remember that. Don't expect it to act normally because it's not a normal day. It's the Thursday before Christmas. A lot of people already on break, kids on break, vacation starting. Stay safe out there, folks. We'll see you tomorrow. Stay tuned for Basil. Have a great one, everybody.